Of course, I'm mute. Now everybody should be able to hear me. Welcome everybody to EIT Food Business Creation Get Involved, our webinar for impact-driven food and agtech entrepreneurs, investors, corporates, and everybody who wants to understand and learn what we've done in the last years, what we're doing here at EIT Food Central Business Creation, and most of all, to understand a bit more about our programs and what we have to offer to make our food system more sustainable, healthy, and trusted. I'm Agnes, and I'm in the very sunny city of Munich right now. So I'd really love to hear from you where you are right now, and also if you're a startup, if you're a corporate, and why you're here today, and what's most interesting for you in this event. On behalf of my colleagues Mira and Christoph and the whole EIT Food Business Creation team, I'm your host for today. And before I tell you a bit more about EIT Food, EIT Food Business Creation, and also about our programs, I'm gonna give you a slight little preview for our agenda for today. We have a fully packed agenda. We have our first, of course, the welcome and setting the scene by me. I'll tell you a bit more about EIT Food, who we are, what we do, and a bit more about our regional business creation activities. Wow, I see so many messages popping up already. That's great. So let's keep this engagement running. Then afterwards, Christoph will share some more about our business creation programs and also about our new activities. I think some of you haven't heard yet about our corporate venturing activities and about our access to finance tool, our EIT Food impact investment activities. So Christoph will tell you a bit more about that. And afterwards, we'll jump in to a deep dive of the 3 different programs. So we'll have the Seedbed Incubator run by DIL for the region of Germany, Austria, Netherlands, and also Switzerland. Here we'll have Alexander Merdian, who's the DIL Innovation Hub lead, and also Pina Frank, who is co-founder of Holloyd from Vienna in Austria, and she's an alumni of the 2021 cohort of the Seedbed Incubator. Also, we have then for our bit more advanced startups that are already established, our EIT Fan Hub Insights with the Munich Hub. Munich Hub is being led by Unternehmertum, and here we have Linda Schuh, who's joining us today to give you some further insights into what to expect when joining the EIT Fan Hub in Munich. Also, of course, you get a big overview about what to expect at the Fan Accelerator overall. Darina Sirakova from Ecolife, a sustainable agriculture startup, alumni from Munich Hub last year, will join Linda and give you her startup perspective on the program. Last but not least, we have our EIT Food Rising Food Stars manager, Narjis Shakir, tuning in from the sunny city of Barcelona, and she will tell us a bit more about the EIT Food Rising Food Stars program and what it has to offer us for high-tech scale-ups in Europe. Unfortunately, Philip from the startup or scale-up Löwy, a TUM spin-off in the personalized nutrition space, can't be here today. They would have had a really exciting story to share about recently being acquired by Bionic, a leading health support platform with personalized science and database solutions. And they have a really interesting solution to offer. So maybe Narjis can give us a bit of an insight into them as well. And then we have a quick wrap up, a networking session. So that's also something that I'd really like to encourage you. I see so many messages in the chat already to encourage you to just ask your questions and to take the time also to connect to other people after our stream. So at around 4:30, we'll close this session and you'll get time to jump into the networking tables. We have different tables prepared for you. So we have one table for the Seedbed Incubator. We have one table for EIT Fan. We have one table for Rising Food Stars. And then we have a couple of other tables in case you just want to connect to other agri-food entrepreneurs and actors in the food tech and agtech space. All right. So let's kick this off. EIT Food is Europe's leading food innovation initiative. And we are working to make the food system more sustainable, healthy, and trusted. And as you can see here, EIT Food is really about 3 different parts. So we have our industry partners, we have our research centers and universities, and we have our startups. So of course, our food system is facing major challenges at the moment. Now and in the future. So it starts from the degradation of soils going towards a massive loss of food that's been lost along the whole food value chain, not only on a consumer level, but also during the whole production process. There's topics such as the trust in our food system, the trust in the quality of our food, and of course there's a need to increase the use of technology in the whole food value chain and in the food production, for example, for better predictions, to a more sustainable use of our resources. And at the same time, on a policy level, as most of you probably know, we have the European Green Deal and the Farm to Fork strategy that has a huge impact onto the operating models of our industry partners, of research centers and universities, and also on our startups. So we need to build a more resilient and resource-efficient food system that includes also healthier diets for citizens and, of course, the restoration of biodiversity. So these changes and challenges are really relevant for all of our different partners. And EIT Food has the role of bringing all these players together and guide and accelerate the innovation process that is currently running in our food system. So as you can see, all of our partners and research centers and startups are from different regions all over Europe. So EIT Food's headquarters is in Leuven in Belgium, and from there we're organized in different hubs all over Europe, from Warsaw, Bilbao, Madrid, to here in Freising or Munich, where our CLC Central is located for the region of Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands. We have our 6 focus areas. So as I already mentioned, we have massive challenges in our food system. So EIT Food decided, together with our partners, to focus on 6 different focus areas that are, of course, aligned with the UN SDGs, that are aligned with the European Green Deal and the Farm to Fork strategy. And these are the focus areas that are really important and will be in the future. So that has a huge impact on your application, for example, to our programs as well. So if you apply to our programs, your solution should have an effect and an impact in one of these focus areas. So it's alternative proteins, targeted nutrition, sustainable agriculture, sustainable aquaculture, digitalized traceability, and of course, a super important topic, the topic of circularity in our food system, so the circular food systems. Our community in Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands, I already gave a quick insight into our different partners that we have here. And just to give you a bit of an idea of the partners that you might be collaborating with when you join one of our programs and one of our activities, you can see them here. So it goes really from farm to fork. We have John Deere with us. We have Annex Food as a more innovation hub. We have Siemens as a technology provider, DSM and Döhler that are more in the food tech space, food ingredient space, Syntegon as being a major packaging company, or Safetra Group, and recently just joined for our programs, Südzucker. Christoph will tell us a bit more about our corporate partners later on. The research partners that we have here are Fraunhofer Institute, Technical University of Munich, University of Hohenheim, the Bavarian State Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Forestry, and the DIL that we'll get to know later as well, the German Institute for Food Technology. As startups, I have just a small selection from our startups in our region. You'll get to know Ecolife and Holoid a bit more later. Also a super exciting startup and Sunicorn that you might know from Germany is Air Up. Also Löwy that I mentioned, unfortunately who couldn't be here today. Delicious Data, also from Munich, Manutech as well. All of these teams are really shaping the future of our food system together with us in our region and our amazing alumni of our programs. So before I get deeper into, or Christoph will tell you a bit more about our business creation programs, and this is, I think, probably the reason why you're here today, I would like to take the chance and give you a bit of an insight into what we do next to the business creation programs when it comes to business creation on a CLC central level. So for the region Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands, we thought it's super important to have programs on the one side that are running every year, and then at the same time we see that it's important to create an impact also on a more regional level and to connect teams, to connect to the regional ecosystems, may it be in Bavaria, may it be in the whole of Germany, because we think that there are so many dots we have to connect. So this is the extra toppings that we created for you. So we have 4 different formats on the regional level. First of all, for you as startups, probably super relevant, the Regulars Table. The Regulars Table is an exchange window via Zoom that's taking place once a month. It's just basically a Zoom call where around 20 to 30 founders meet up. We moderate the whole thing. There's always one team that is sharing his or her current challenges, also give an insight into, for example, the last funding round, how they did it, and how they connect within the ecosystem. And then it's an open round to exchange, connect with us, with other networks in the food and ag tech space in Germany. So we had Food Hub NRW joining us, we had Kitchen Town Berlin, we had Impact Hub Berlin, and there's many more to come. On the second level, we think it's crucial to give small and medium-sized companies that are willing to collaborate with startups, with our amazing startups in the food and ag tech space, to further advance the innovation processes, a bit of a guidance through the whole process. So this is how the format Collaborate Now actually came into place, and it's about collaborating and it's with the startups and corporates, startups and medium-sized companies, because we see that there was a strong need for relevant and very guided networking workshops and mentoring. So startups and medium-sized companies learn how to work together and what options there are to actually collaborate with each other. And it doesn't always have to be an investment, it can also be a pilot project and so on. This program will take place again also in July in 2022. So stay tuned via our newsletter that we're sharing in the chat later. And if you're interested in that, just get in touch and we'll tell you more about that. The third format is the financial literacy topic. We have just launched this year. 1 week ago, we launched our Agri-Food Finance Fridays. Agri-Food Finance Fridays is about giving you insights and context in the finance space to help you identify the right source of finance and to support you in making wise choices when it comes to financing your food and ag tech innovation. The first session was on the topic of public funding. So let's see where the next one will lead us. If you have some ideas and if there's one topic that you'd really like to talk about when it comes to financing, just get in touch and we're happy to support you in that and to set up the fitting program. The last one is the partner support. We have individual challenges. Our first pilot that we did now together with Siemens and the State Agriculture Research Institute, the LFL here in Bavaria, was a AgTech challenge that we set up especially for one location in Rusdorf in the lower Bavaria. And we managed to bring 3 startups there. The session will start in end of February. And it's all about giving startups the possibility to a soft landing session that's really tailored to their needs, to get able to test their solutions on the fields that are provided, and also to further advance their solutions with technology experts and other mentors in the AgTech space. And at the same time, to bring some sparks of innovation into a very specific area of Bavaria. So yeah, if you want to know more about these programs, just get in touch later at the networking session. And now, Christoph, I see that you already turned on your video, so you know it's your time to shine. Tell us a bit about the programs.
Thanks so much, Agnes, for the intro, and welcome everyone. I'm very happy to walk you through what we have, on a pan-European level as an offer for you. And actually, one of the questions we receive quite frequently is actually, what might be the right program for me, right? So this is one of the questions that we want to ask, what we want to answer today. Not only what is the right program for me, but also how can I actually benefit from it? And maybe you are an investor or a SME or corporate, how can I further support, right? What's already there and what's already in place. So these are the questions we want to answer today in this webinar. And the way the startup programs at EIT Food work is pretty much straightforward. So we look at 3 distinct challenges that you might have as an entrepreneur in your journey, and starting very early on with the need of getting some feedback on what you are trying to develop, that there is actually a need for it in the market. So market validation, this is the first big hurdle, the big challenge that we see startups are facing. Quite every startup faces in the very beginning. This is why we offer in the Seedbed Incubator tailored support for the early ones. For the more advanced startups that have potentially already registered the company and are then looking outside for customers. So not only validation anymore, but also maybe pilots, co-development, strategic investments. So it's really important then to get in touch with the whole industry, with potential customers. For them, we work together in the accelerator on how we can do a better job linking them with the industry. And finally, and this might be the last challenge, if you have already some product market fit in your home market, how to go internationally, right? So how to expand throughout Europe, how to scale up your technology, and how to potentially conquer the world. Yeah. So that's one of the maybe final steps in your journey from an early innovator to an impactful change maker in our food system. So this is how our programs are organized. And what we've seen throughout all 3 of them is actually that there is a need for strong financial support, obviously. Yeah? So what you see in the next slide is that we have started as EIT Food not only to invest, but also to link startups to our industry network, right? So it's important to get customers. Yeah, that's even more important than financing, investments, to get early access with the industry, to get the feedback, but also to see whether there's mutual ground for future collaboration. And at EIT Food, we saw that there's also a big interest from the industry to get a better connection to the startups, a better visibility of the startups that are actually applying to our programs. This is why we are at EIT Food now brokering those connections, in a more structured way. We've been piloting it last year already within the accelerator, and we are very happy and fortunate that we can now actually roll it out across all of our programs, and all of our startups that apply to one of the 3 EIT Food programs will actually have the opportunity to get some exposure towards the corporates as well, if they're interested in. And then let's see that depending on their interest, follow-up meetings will be arranged, or we can also help with the matchmaking process afterwards. And besides brokering connections between you and the industry, we are obviously then also able to support you financially. So EIT Food has started since 2020 to also actively invest in companies. We can invest up to 300,000 euros. We have piloted this 2020 during the COVID pandemic. We set up a so-called COVID rescue initiative, and we are able to support, I think, 13 companies in 2020, and last year it was around 6. 3 of them were actually EIT fan startups, so from the accelerator, and also some from the Rising Food Stars and from the Seedbed Incubator too. So it's across the board, and the schemes depend obviously on your needs as well. So it can be that EIT Food can participate directly in your investment round. We can participate with a safe note. Yeah, so it's a very, very easy tool to avoid lengthy valuation processes. Or we can also have convertible note structures, really depending on the stage you're in and your needs, obviously. In addition, we also collaborate with PeakBridge partners. They have now raised a separate early stage fund, which is called the Food Sparks Fund. And they have raised, meanwhile, another 10 million euros that they are looking to invest in companies. And we also are obviously approached quite frequently from investors all over Europe, which we are happy to connect you as well. So there is a lot of support that we can give you from the investor side, but also part of our programs is the access to equity free grants as well, which might help you in your early stages, for instance, in the accelerator, to do some product development, to do some travel, which will hopefully this year become possible again. In the earlier stages, to do custom interviews, you need some financial support as well. Yeah, so these are more like to cover the immediate needs, but we are very well aware that if you have companies or ideas which are more capital intensive, then you won't make it with 10K. Yeah, so this is why we have started now to establish also these other funding instruments. And what's unique to the EIT Food Impact Fund, so this is really, it's only accessible if you're part of our programs or if you're part of our alumni community. So that's the only way to get access to this one. But the other ones, we are obviously keen to make introductions here to the companies applying but also participating in our programs too. Over to you, Agnes.
All right, thanks so much, Christoph. I was just looking if there's any questions to you right now in the chat, since we are perfectly in time. But I don't see any questions right now. If you do have questions, please post them in the chat. You now have the time to have Christoph right here in front of you. 5 minutes of a fireside chat, if you like. If there's no questions on the whole topic of corporate investing, corporate venturing, and also investing, then I would suggest we just go on and take the deep dive into our programs. There's a question that I see now, maybe one, Christoph. If we have applied to the EIT Accelerator, can we reach out for introductions to investors?
So it's obviously part of a more structured process and very much moderated at each of our accelerator hubs. So there are different formats in different hubs. For instance, we had organized in Bilbao an own investment forum, right, to give you then not only to buy and not only to do an email introduction, but to give you also the forum in front of investors to pitch, to network, and to have some training beforehand, because it can really help to get the knowledge too around cap tables, about what to present, what are the relevant decision factors on the side of investors. Yeah, what are they actually looking for? So to have some training, but also to have this unique exposure in a very exclusive kind of environment. That's what we're looking for as part of the programs. But if you have, obviously, if you receive introduction requests up front, we are dealing with them on a one-by-one basis. Yeah, so obviously we cannot do it for everyone. Yeah, but we focus on those who are part of our programs. But if there are requests coming our ways, we usually deal with it more on a regional level, right? So as Agnes mentioned, we have formats on a regional level, such as the finance webinars. We also know investors on a regional level, so we will make those connections primarily on a regional level. But if there are requests coming in for introductions to the big VCs that are active across Europe, we can handle those as well, but not that frequently, obviously, to not overload them.
Perfect. Thank you, Christoph. I hope that answered your question, Renata. There's a question here. I didn't know how did that come up here. As a scale-up firm, how can we cooperate? Christoph.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
As a scale-up firm, how can we cooperate? I just got a message, I think, in my chat. So the question was by Besan. She's from a scale-up firm, and she wants to ask how she can cooperate, or her firm can cooperate with EIT Food.
As a consulting firm, yeah. So the easiest is to be clear on which stage you're looking to support, right? So is it more in the early stages where it's really more about mentoring, in my opinion, and more about being open-minded and making introductions to industry? That's how the big value add, in my opinion, can be in the very early stages. Later on, it's for sure mentoring too, but it's also maybe delivering workshops depending on your expertise. For instance, if you have special expertise in scaling up, that are topics we are looking for, primarily in the accelerator and later on in the rising food stars too. So it expands then from mentoring to making introductions to maybe giving a workshop, giving a lecture, giving an input session, or participating in other formats that we have at the later stages. So it would be good to get in touch with the program leads or the people that are close by you in the region, because as Agnes presented earlier, there are even more formats that we also run in a certain region, right? So although there might be not immediately an opportunity on a pan-European level, there will be potentially something coming your way on a more regional level.
Thanks, Christoph. I hope that answered your question, Besan. There will be time to discuss in a networking session later as well. So maybe you can grab Christoph there and ask him a bit more in detail about what that collaboration could look like. Rui has a question if he can be involved in more than one program at the same time. So Christoph, I would leave this one for you, just because I'm moderating and I hope I don't have to answer all the questions. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Just one comment on this one. So when it comes to the pan-European programs, we feel that each is obviously targeted a very specific need, right? The need for market validation, that's seedbed. The need to connect to industry, to run pilots, to pilot the technology on site or in a lab environment, that's EIT Fan, that's the accelerator. And scaling up, that's the unique challenge during the you come and join the Rising Food Stars network, right? So I feel that there is no overlaps, right? So either you are your primary challenge is this one or another one, but there might be programs also offered on a regional level, and they are obviously not exclusive, right? So you can be part of the accelerator, but at the same time also be part of the finance webinars, for instance, in CLC Central, of the AgTech challenge that we run. And there you have even more opportunity, right, to work with EIT Food and to get access to the network.
Thanks, Christoph. I was just going to add on that as well. Now at the AgTech Challenge Sustainable Agriculture, we do have, for example, 2 teams that took part in our programs in Rising Food Stars and another team that's Seedbed Alumni, and they now participated in a challenge as well. So really the big goal is to have alumni involved in other regional activities as well. But then, as you said, the 3 different programs are pretty different from each other, so there's not really an overlap there. And there are some questions still in the chat. I still would like to continue because I feel like they might be answered anyways as we continue. If not, Sina and Anne, we can discuss that later. And we would now get further into the deep dive of our programs. Which I would like to start with the Seedbed Incubator. Christoph already explained to you what the Seedbed Incubator actually is all about. So it's about giving entrepreneurs the tools to establish whether there is a market need for their innovation within the agri-food space and what that potential might be. Here, a quick overview about where the different location of the Seedbed Incubators are. Because as our central hubs, our co-location hubs. I told you earlier we're located in Leuven, but then at the same time in different European regions. It's the same for our programs actually as well. So the Seedbed Incubator is in Aarhus for the northern region. We have one in Belfast, the UK. We have one in Bilbao for Southern Europe, and we have one in Warsaw in Poland, and we have one in Quakenbrück, which is in Germany, in the north of Germany, and that's where also our partner, the Dill Hub, is located, and you'll hear from him in a second a bit more about their involvement in the program. Seedbed Incubator is a pre-accelerator program. So it's for scientific entrepreneurs that want to explore the potential of their research. So if you have a research, if you have an IP and you want to understand and explore if there is a commercial potential, this program is really for you. It's facilitated, as I said, by our partner organizations in 5 different hubs, maybe a university, maybe a research institute, maybe the University of Belfast, for example. And for our region of Germany, the Dill Seedbed Hub is in Quakenbrück, as I already said. You can expect 6 months of transforming your science and research and technology-based innovation and to really, de-risk that early stage of innovation. So that's basically the goal of the whole program. You get access to expert training, of mentoring, to identify your core business assumptions. You get access to mentors that are really there to guide you through the whole process of doing your customer discovery research. And you can validate this roadmap that you have established with more than 100 different stakeholders out of the food and agtech ecosystems. That can be stakeholders, that can be customers, that can be users. And what we really want to do and what we wanted to do with the 6K financial support is to get out of the lab, to get out of the incubation space, to go to fairs, to go form focus groups, to go out there and speak to your customers. And this is really the challenge that you have here, and that really helps you to understand if there is a market need, or if you might have to pivot your solution that you originally wanted to bring onto the market. After the program, you get, as Christoph already explained to you, access to potentially access to investments. So what we try to provide here is really investment readiness support. So training on how to pitch in front of investors, what to take care of in the whole process of being engaged with investors, and potentially, of course, you get the option to profit from that EIT Food Impact Fund and our investor network as well. The goal is really to solve global food system challenges and to transfer this amazing potential of scientific research that is there and to form it into market-validated businesses with the support of our partners. So now you probably ask yourself if you're eligible to apply. So the target group here are aspiring entrepreneurs, meaning teams that are looking to validate the market potential of their innovation, that want to launch a new company. The sweet spot here are really entrepreneurial academics. So teams that are doing research that have an IP that's belonging to their research organizations or to themselves, and that really want to commercialize that, and newly formed companies. So you can still also apply if you're a spin out of university and you already started your business, but you still want to go through the whole process of the customer discovery research and understanding the potential of your solution. If you ask yourself if you're eligible to apply, you are. If you're ready to transform your science into technology-based innovation, you can apply if you have an existing prototype or a lab-proof concept that is established. You have to fit into one of the EIT Food focus areas, so just have an impact into our food system. That's really relevant. You have to be at least 2 team members. So one team member also has to be an EU citizen. Or if you're not 2 team members, then you can join as a solo researcher. with your RTO, so with your university, who has to be involved in the program as well. And if you're already registered, you have to be an EU registered company, of course. We will have some webinars in the next weeks also that will help you to understand whether how to write a good application. So we'll have a lot of time also to ask these questions during these very detailed questions about if your individual case is eligible to apply during the other webinars. And I think I can't see if there's questions in the chat right now, but there might be. So I think you'll have some time to answer them within the month of February. Just about the key timings. The application phase is now until end of February 28th. Then we have the evaluation phase until end of April. And then the top 60 teams that applied from all over Europe will join a 1-week bootcamp. During this bootcamp, you will get all the tools that you need to develop your value proposition, to set up your customer discovery journey, and to get these business insights that you as a more, let's say, technology-focused researcher are not so firm with. And after this 1 week, there'll be a pitch in front of some of our partners, about experts in the entrepreneurship field and our mentors. And then there'll be the top 40 teams selected. And they will be brought to the different hubs, and you will join your individual hub and your individual hub journey for the market discovery. By the end of the program, there'll be options roundabout, there'll be pitch sessions in front of investors, in front of experts again. And of course, as I already mentioned, we'll have alumni support that we provide you with. So in case there's different challenges that you need to tackle, we will support you in finding solutions to these challenges that you have. Some of our alumni in 2021 from the Seedbed Incubator in Dill. We have Holoid that we'll get to know now, Paltech, an agtech company in the weeding area, Canoela, no refined ingredients, super interesting solution as well. We have Seed Alive, Serino, who are more in a digitalized traceability field, or Soul Bites from Switzerland. So we have really different solutions that joined us last year. And now it's, I'll skip this one. Now it's time to hear from your individual experiences what teams will expect when they apply for this year's Still Seedbed Hub. And also to learn a bit more about the Seedbed Incubator program and how you run it at Dill Innovation Hub. So we have 2 representatives from the Seedbed Incubator last year. We have Alexander Merdian, who's the hub lead for the Dill Innovation Hub in Quakenbrück, who's the program facilitator for the region of Germany, Austria, and Netherlands. And we have Pina Frank, who's the co-founder of Holoid. They are a digital traceability startup from Vienna in Austria, and they offer an inline data monitoring solution for food production that provides insights on tiny particles, and their solution improves food safety, reduces food waste, and the rest I think she'll explain you, because I think it's super interesting to hear from you what you actually do. So Alexander and Pina, great to have you here. I'll stop sharing my slides. And let's start. Alexander, please tell us a bit more about Dill Innovation Hub and what your role in the Seedbed Incubator is.
Yeah, hi Agnes. Thank you for having me here. The Dill Innovation Hub is the first point of contact for startups who want to get into touch with the German Institute of Food Technologies. This is the abbreviation DIL in German. What we do, we promote, support startups in the agri-food industry through advice, training, networking, customized program. One of it is EIT Food Seedbed. Maybe allow me 2 sentences about the German Institute of Food Technologies. It's a non-profit institute, one of the leading institutes in Europe. What we do is very applied research, as well as we work for the industry in our different departments. We have around 200 people working here. And our departments is advanced technologies, product innovation, biotech, food physics, automatizations, and machine building and analytics. Yeah, my role is I'm heading the Innovation Hub, and I'm responsible here at the Institute for the EIT Food Seedbed program.
Perfect. Thanks, Alexander, for that introduction. Now the same one for you, Pina. Tell us a bit more about Holoid and what you do to solve our food systems challenges, and also what challenges you're actually solving.
Thank you, Agnes, for the invitation. Holoid, we always say we provide big data on small things. We are offering an online process monitoring system, and you can use it for food industry, of course, and it's based on holographic microscopy. So it means we are digitizing the microscopy images and automating the analysis using artificial intelligence. We are monitoring any particles which are bigger than 300 nanometers in liquids. And we are focusing in bioprocess and bioreactors. And for example, cellular agriculture is very important for us. And fermentation processes happening in these huge vessels where you usually don't see anything. And this is our effort to, this is our part we are playing in solving these food problems.
Well, it sounds really techy. And at the same time, super important. I think the topic of food quality control is one that will become more and more important and is right now, and a big challenge that's there to solve. So getting a bit deeper into the program, I already talked about market validation, about customer discovery. So Pina, maybe you can explain a bit more about why you decided to apply for the Seedbed Incubator. And why did you join this journey, and how it was for you?
I mean, we were the textbook applicant, I would say, because we are the university spin-off coming from academia. I personally have some product development and application development experience already, but I don't have any formal business development training. And in our team, we are 3 physicists and a business person. And in general, we know anything about the sensors and building microscopes, but we have no idea about the industry and about building a real product for the industry. So we wanted to start in the food industry. That was our first industry, and we wanted to learn more about food, about the regulations, about the customers and their real needs. And that's why actually we joined the incubator last year.
Well, that sounds really like you were the perfect
Yes.
match for the program. And maybe also tell us a bit more about what happened then. And you joined the program. So how was the whole process for you? Did you have some pivots also during the time?
I have to admit, I joined the team in May, and I was very happy to start the program in June. So it was one of the first things I did. And as I told you, I have no idea about business development and about no knowledge, no mindset to build up a startup. So it was very new for me. And we had to break free from this technology focus and develop something for the customer and not waste time with something really cool, which you, of course, want to develop, but which nobody needs. So it was very helpful. We had this workshop in the beginning, where we had this the first phase with this 1-week bootcamp, and we finished it with a clear roadmap, with a clear business model, with defined market segments, and we really had a plan in the end for the next 6 months, and we committed to have 100 plus meaningful conversations with the customers, with the development partners. And the best thing is this program kept us accountable. So we had these bi-weekly meetings with Alexander. Thank you, Alexander. And we were reflecting about what was happening. Are we doing something? Are we doing the right thing? And you have to push yourself to pick up it's not the phone anymore. Just write this email, just contact these people and ask them and have these meetings. And 100 plus conversations are intimidating in the beginning, but it is doable and it is extremely beneficial. We had to pivot. We had some assumptions in our minds when we started, and at the end, we just gave some of them up. And of course, you have to accept the reality and how it is, and we learned a lot. So that was our experience. It was very humbling and very, I would say, we had many lessons. We learned a lot.
That sounds really really great. Also, I think the topic of pushing yourself and having someone to maybe also push you a little bit can be something that I think is super important in this journey. Maybe also to hear from you, Alexander. Do you have some learnings from 2021? Did you have some teams that stuck in your head where you think, wow, they really stood out? Is there anything from last year you'd like to share with the people who are watching?
I think at the first place, the learnings are on the side of the participants. I mean, basically, best outcome, like Pina just explained, is, let's say, a good idea about what you're going to do. You can call it validated business model if you like. Yeah. And what we constantly learn in the programs is that assumptions are maybe not right, and they have to be pivoted. This is, let's say, one big advantage of the program. And the next one is here, you're becoming part of a community. We have the so-called entrepreneur in residence from different fields. So it's ag and food tech specialists, it's financing specialists, it's business development specialists, and you can simply ask them in a very relaxed and constructive atmosphere. You can learn from others as well. What are they doing? How do they approach? And I would say when it comes to our participants, last year was extremely successful. And as it is in the startup scene, it's very dynamic. Last year, our 8 participants raised investments of around, I don't know, 700, 800,000 already. Yeah, some still need a bit more time, but all of them are still on board, proceeding. Very good to see. And what we really like to see here at the German Institute of Food Technologies is a long-term connection to them with EIT Food, with our institute. And of course, when it comes to technical expertise, this is not really the scope of the program because it's more about business validation. But I'm always happy to connect them to our departments if I find an expert to discuss, let's say, more or less technical assumption. What works, what might not work, what are our experiences. So altogether, I think, Pina, you can agree, great thing working in the teams. Hopefully, we will have the possibility to meet face-to-face this year. Last year, we managed it on the Venture Summit. Big event. Everyone was totally thrilled. Pina, you agree? It was really nice, and it really adds an additional element to see the partner teams and the people from EIT in person. So yeah, I say everyone who's unclear, contact us. We can discuss. And I always say to apply does not hurt. Yeah. So and I think it's from what we've learned in the previous years, it's very helpful for early stage startups.
Thanks, Alexander. I think it was a really good wrap up, actually, of what teams will expect. Yeah, I can totally agree that we'd all love to do the programs also live this year. Let's just see where it's going. I think at the same time, of course, the possibility to join online gives teams that are maybe in different European regions also the chance to join more easily. It's quite a way from Vienna to Quakenbrück, I believe. So at the same time, I think the virtual world really provides us with some opportunities as well. But of course, I'd love to have this event also in live very soon again. So Pina, is there anything else you'd like to share with other entrepreneurs, with other startups that think about applying or that are maybe not sure if they should apply?
They should. I can just say they should apply. If they are considering applying, they should. And if they are coming from academia, it's really perfect fit, because the workshops, as Alex reminded me of them, I mean, it's really very, very beneficial. I learned a lot. It was like an MBA, but in a very short time, and really focused on this startup building and on my product and on our technology. And with the real feedback, with this professionals giving us these workshops, these one-on-one meetings, and experts on resonance, everything, the whole, and the connections you can have. I mean, I sound now like a poster child, but it's really, you should apply if you are considering. From academia, I would say yes, definitely. And if not, if you have just a product idea, which is food related, and you want to have this reality check, this market validation, is very, very useful.
Great. Thanks so much, Pina. I promised to everyone I didn't brief her on saying that. It's really great to hear again from you that you can really profit from the program. And I'd really encourage everyone who's thinking about, okay, should I apply, shouldn't I apply? You can apply. You can apply you can take part in the boot camp in the beginning, and then see where it takes you. And yeah, I think it's a great opportunity also, and it's for free as well, right? So it's nothing you can lose, only things you can win. So thanks, Alexander and Pina. I'll just start sharing my slides again, which will take a couple of seconds. By the way, it's great to see that there's 60 people in this session. It's really not taken for granted, since it's such a sunny day out, and I think it's really, really cool that you're all still here. And now it's about the deep dive into the EIT Food Accelerator Network. And here again, we have Christoph joining us, since he's the EIT Fan Hub for Europe. And then also we have the deep dive by our Munich hub lead from Unternehmertum, Linda, and an alumni who is Darina from EcoLife, an AgTech startup, and she will tell us a bit more about her solution experiences as well. So Christoph.
Thanks so much, Agnes. Yeah, before I hand over to Linda and to Darina, maybe a quick overview. So EIT Fan has meanwhile grown to a 7-hub accelerator program. So we operate 7 accelerator locations that are not only in Munich, but then also in Bilbao, Spain, in the UK, in Cambridge, in Helsinki, in Lausanne, in Haifa, Israel. So really spread across Europe. And in each of those hubs, we provide a very tailored program, and you will learn more about it in a second from Linda. But at the same time, we want to create this unifying element, right? And the unifying element is that we are all working towards connecting all the startups in our programs to the investor community, but also to the network itself. That means to our corporate partners, but also to research partners, to help you take the next step, which is in our case then not market validation anymore, but concrete getting pilot projects, getting, in best case, contracts, agreements between find your customers, find your customer base. So it's the next step. And this is why on a pan-European level, we are connecting you through a standardized matchmaking format with the industry, and also offer now, hopefully this year, on-site events spread across Europe where we can meet up together if you're working on similar challenges. For instance, we had last year, we had some focus topics such as sustainability in agriculture or healthy nutrition and alternative proteins, where we offered dedicated courses along the program itself. So each week we met up, but this year I feel we can hopefully travel again, which is obviously great to bring everybody working on similar problems together on one side, and giving a platform for mutual exchange and to exchange ideas and feedback and to hear a bit more how others are approaching different challenges. So this is something that where we can add value across our different accelerator hubs. And there are some benefits that are also very much the same across all of our hubs. So in each of our locations, we give a 10K grant to all the participants. And this is for two reasons. Yeah? One is to support travel if needed. Yeah? So if there are pan-European events like the Venture Summit last year, like these on-site events in other locations, we have some money to support the travel needed. But at the same time, we are also aware that there are special services you may need or access to infrastructure that you might not get elsewhere. So part of this money should also go towards product development. And we have a lot of partners in our network that can offer facilities. And we would we encourage you also very much to make use of those services and to use part of the money, obviously, to also advance in your product development. So that's one aspect. And then in each of our hubs, we have obviously also local ecosystem partners. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to look across Europe, yeah, because networks and ecosystems are very different. And I feel we have a very strong one here in Munich. But at the same time, we have also partners that are active across Europe and interested in all of our locations. This is why our main goal, our main objective from a central perspective is to link you to those partners, whether it's industry, investors, but also research partners. So that's the benefits in a nutshell, and what it feels like to participate in the program in Munich. I think Linda is the best person to talk to about this one.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Christoph. Now handing over to Linda. And Linda, you're a venture consultant at Expreneurs Unternehmertum here in Munich. And you'll tell us a bit more about the Expreneurs Incubator, about Unternehmertum, the Technical University of Munich, and then, of course, your role at the EIT Food Hub Munich. So over to you.
Yes, thank you, Agnes, and also thank you, Christoph, for providing this great overview. I'm Linda. I'm, as Agnes said, a venture consultant at Unternehmertum, and in particular in their Expreneurs department. And I will be managing the actual EIT Food program in the Munich hub. And as they already told you, EIT Food has so many partners, and each of the hubs is organized by one of the partners. And here in Munich, it's the Technical University in combination with the Entrepreneurship Center Unternehmertum. And besides all the great benefits that Christoph already mentioned, like the network of investors, corporate partners by EIT Food, you will also benefit from the network of Unternehmertum and TUM. So TUM is the Technical University here. Our amazing network of mentors, investors, and also experts will really help you to set the foundation and meeting the right people in the right time. So it's getting even better, and you can also benefit from the network and facilities of the Technical University. They have their prototyping facilities at the Venture Lab in Weinstefan with food processing equipment, laboratories, and so on. So you can really make use of their network as well, and also their talents in the university, especially within life science, nutrition, ag tech, food tech, these areas especially. And Roman Werner, he is also in the call here. He is the managing director of the Venture Lab Food Agro Biotech at TUM, and he's very well connected in this area. And you have the chance to meet him and Christoph Alessandri on the table on the networking platform later. You can ask TUM specific questions. And Christoph, he coached the agri-food teams in the previous batch, and he's a startup consultant from TUM. So what can you expect if you really join our EIT Food program in Munich? So one of the great benefit is that the 10 teams can really get involved in our network, get a working space here in the brand new Munich Urban Co-Lab in the city of Munich. So you can see that on the slide here from the outside, and also the team of entrepreneurs inside. So it's a great open space where you meet other founders and can go to events, participate in a really vibrant environment. And this is perfect to seize the chance to have the possibilities to book meeting rooms with maybe potential investors, who knows, use their makerspace that we have here as well to also prototype, and many other facilities and benefits. And of course, we can meet for different events here because networking plays a really big role. And the program starts with an offsite, usually, if it's going to be possible. We are usually going for a hike in the mountains here close to Munich. And this is where you can really get to know each other and connect. And as Alexander said, meeting in person is really meaningful, and especially in the beginning helps to really get into the program. You will also have a lead coach during the program that is looking after you and your goals, and who's also customizing the program for your needs, making introductions, connections, all of that. And you will also have a mentor, or we say companion, on your side, and they are usually experts in your field. So we have a matchmaking here with companions and startups as well to really find the perfect fit for you. And there are also many other experts that you can meet and talk to occasionally when it's needed. They are very specific experts in certain areas. And all in all, we have also a great VC network here. We also have the UVC, the Unternehmertum Venture Capital Fund, and also connection to food sector specific VCs. Also, corporate partners are in our network, but of course, EIT Food has already many connections here. And we are also planning to have an investor event where you actually meet and connect with investors, getting to know them, first touch points, maybe also getting feedback. What can you improve when you're then ready to do a VC round, all of that. And we have plenty of workshops and one-on-ones, especially with experts. And for example, you will get insights for product market fit, how to secure the first investments, how to develop a team, or how to handle legal or tech support. And this is the 5th time that we are hosting the EIT Fan program here. And there are great alumni as well. So you can also benefit from their insights, their challenges. You can talk to, let's say, Air Up, Read Vital, Delicious Data, and of course, Ecolife. Darina is here today, and you can really learn from them. Another important aspect from our program are the community events. So we did some meetups. Last year, we did also virtual breakfast, feedback sessions, and so on. So I think it's really the combination of virtual events, but also then meeting in person that is making this program a really good one. And all in all, I can only say it's a really cool program. So don't miss out on this opportunity, and you should definitely apply. But the best way to hear how the benefits are really, or how you can really benefit, is listening to our alumna from the last batch. So Darina from Ecolife joined, or we invited her to join today. Darina, are you here already?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
cool. I can't see you, but hello. So would you like to introduce yourself and Ecolife very briefly?
Sure. Thank you very much, Linda. So my name is Darina Štiriakova. I am biotechnologist and geologist and CEO of Ecolife and Ecolife Germany GmbH. And what we do, we use bacteria for cleaning minerals, soil, or different waste. and producing super strong and fully natural biofertilizers, biostimulants, and biopesticides, which can double or even triple farmers' production without agrochemicals.
Wow. Thank you for this introduction. And similar to what Agnes asked before for seedbed, why did you join the EIT Fan program in the Munich Hub?
Actually, because most of our bioleaching operations are in Germany, and we are producing these biofertilizers somehow by accident. So we were looking for a right support. And who else could have helped us to enter agricultural market? Through Munich Hub, we have gained access to a huge network and valuable expertise. And imagine, with this support, we got on the market only in few months. So it was really good choice, I have to admit.
Cool, that's good to hear. Yeah, what would you say? How did you make use of the network here in the EIT Food program, fan program?
Okay, I think the mentoring we received was really intensive, and we got really a lot of valuable advices and navigation to the right direction, because we were talking to the experts and to the industry. And also we even found customers and testing possibilities via EIT Food Network. So if you want to be active in the food business, you really can't find better opportunity.
That's good. Yeah, I can agree. And what were your highlights in the program, if you look back?
It was actually very nice to meet other startups with who you can really share your experiences or even cooperate, but also you can create friendship and have some fun. As you mentioned, especially nice was a hike to the mountains where we went all together. It was really nice. And there we could have intensive discussions and have a good food together. So I really enjoyed this especially, but also super helpful was very intensive mentoring and workshops where you could talk to the experts and discuss the startup issues and challenges, but also directly you could talk to the farmers and industrial partners to understand market better. So it had really big value for us, I have to say.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. And so one last tip, if you have one tip to share for the startups who will get in the program, what would that be?
That would be that if you get there, you are really lucky. So try to use this program as much as possible if you get there, because it's really amazing chance for your startup, and program can offer really much. So don't miss nothing out of it. It's important to actively participate in all these helpful workshops, and don't miss also chances for exchanging with other founders. This is really super helpful. And also program can help you really match with promotion, so you can benefit and grow very quickly with such intensive support. So I would just say use it. And yeah, fingers crossed for all startups.
Fingers crossed, yes, perfectly. Thank you, Darina. Great that you joined our session today. So later you can find both of us at the round table or at the Q&A to ask questions. And you can also find Christoph Alessandri and Roman Werner there. And you can also ask about TUM and Unternehmertum, our program and their roles and everything. So see you later. And I'm handing back to Agnes.
Thanks very much, especially Linda. Thank you for taking over some moderation responsibilities. Always happy to share these responsibilities. So it's really nice to have you as partners also, joining this webinar so vividly. And I think it really shows how important this collaboration part is in this whole program. And just really good insights, really cool insights. I see some messages were popping up on my screen as well. So in case I don't answer all of your questions. I hope we can just meet in the backstage session later at the networking tables. And maybe we'll have some time in the end also to answer your questions. Yeah, we're almost at the end. But last but not least, we have one last program for you, and it's a bit of a secret, since I think Rising Food Stars is this the most mysterious program of all of it, since it's not a typical incubator, it's not a typical accelerator, but it's something a bit more individual, and it's not really a program. So I'm super excited to hear from you, Najis, our brand new Rising Food Stars manager, what high-tech scale-ups in food and agtech can expect this year when applying to Rising Food Stars. I have to share my slides once again, so give me a couple of seconds, but we're almost there. Najis, I think you're here already. Hi. Good to have you here. Maybe in the meantime, you can just introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah, thank you, Agnes, for the great introduction. I am Narcis. I'm the new Rising Food Stars, actually not that new anymore. Been here for almost 3 months.
Cool.
And yeah, I think, Agnes, you said it the right way. It's a bit of a different kind of approach that we have here for Rising Food Stars, because the difference versus the 2 other programs is that Rising Food Stars is an association, and as in it has a legal status as an association. And the idea behind it is that members can stay for up to 3 years, so they can benefit from the network. And the idea of the Rising Food Stars is to bring in early stage scale-ups that are looking to accelerate the commercialization of their technology, or go beyond their in-home markets. And we support them in this growth and expansion journey. And the members actually can stay up to 3 years in the association. The first year is waived. The fees are waived so that they can benefit actually and experience the association, and decide from both sides if there is a good fit and they're getting all the benefits. But historically, we've seen that a lot of our members, after the first year, decide to extend and stay with us for more, because they see the benefits from the network. So maybe a quick explanation on who is the Rising Food Stars for. And I think I saw some questions about programs for scale-ups. I think that's the right program for you if you are early scale-up, which has a solution, technological solution in one of our 6 focus areas that Agnes and Christoph presented at the beginning of this webinar. We look for scale-up that are started somehow to generate revenue, either through a pay-in pilot with different clients, or ideally that they have paying customers for the solution. This is to show that the traction started, and we want to help them on how to speed up the commercialization part. So we're talking about revenues between 1/4 to 10 million. I mean, 200K is also acceptable. So it's just to give a rough idea on what we're talking about. And also, these are scale-ups that have already a small team in place with certain roles, so at least 5 employees with distinct roles, showing that the organization is growing and ready to focus on other challenges that only the innovation itself or the product. In terms of a fundraising stage, Rising Food Stars is for companies that already raised the Series A or expecting to raise it in the next 6 to 12 months, so we can support them also in this transition. And yeah, as I said, the main point is that in terms of growth stage, we're looking for startups that are looking to grow and expand and eventually go international, meaning beyond their in-home market, so that they can get the full benefit from the network. So that's about the typical rising food stars we're looking for. In terms of offering or value proposition, we look at it from 4 pillars. Our first pillar, and I think Agnes introduced it very nicely, which is about the personalized scale-up support. So what should you expect when you join the Rising Food Stars? You get a chance as part of your onboarding to have what we call a scale-up scan, to help you and help us understand basically the stage of scaling you are at, and what are your gaps and opportunities and strengths as well. So we can build a specific plan based on that and work on it. And we look at different angles, be it leadership, potential, strategy, organization, etc., and work on an action plan based on that. You also get a pitching training, demo days, etc. And following that comes then the tailored support in terms of introductions and needed network to support your specific needs based on one-on-ones and group calls. The second part that we provide is exposure and visibility, and we really believe that at this stage of the growth, this is an important part. We aim to raise the profile of your company, raise awareness about what the great solutions that you are bringing on the table and the tangibility of it, because it started already showing somehow some traction. So this is something that we want to bring forward. And the way we do that is one, by supporting you to have spots in the main EU exhibition and events such as Future Food Tech or FNA Next. And we support you there with communication and financial support to be able to travel, have the right branding and communication, up to 4,000 euros per year. But on top of that, I think there is an interesting part also, again, for a scale up is the PR and media and visibility you get through our own media channels, and the ability to use the brand Rising Food Stars as a way to open doors for you. And I think we have plenty of great examples from this year. For the sake of time, I'm not sharing, but if you are interested, we can speak in one-on-one and share more examples on how we support some startups by through videos that were aired in our channels, interviews, articles, and these are things that really help them to get the right visibility with investors, with potential strategic partners for some Rising Food Stars that got eventually acquired, and they were very grateful to have this kind of support, professional support that they wouldn't have by themselves, because it's costly, it's time consuming. So I think this is something that is very much valued. The third pillar, and I think that's interesting because it has a different aspect versus the other programs. So first, by being Rising Food Stars, you can have access to our innovation project calls. And this is a way to accelerate your R&D and technological solution with big budget support, and by building a consortium as well with a corporate and university. And the outcome of this research are really valuable for our Rising Food Stars and help them to speed up years of probably individual work. But the second part is also something new we're experimenting this year, is also to help them speed up the commercialization. And we have a program called the Fast Track Initiative, where they join forces with a corporate partner to bring in their solution to the market. So, for example, partnering up with a retailer so they can test and see the results of the solution and start and accelerate actually their revenue generation through this support. And we finance them with up to 200K with such initiatives. The last piece, and again, for this type of profiles that are trying to raise a Series A or B, we do personalized introductions to our investors community. Once we know that they are raising funds, I represent them in meetings with investors, share their stage, their needs, etc., and based on that, share back feedbacks and make introductions for them. And I think, as Christoph mentioned, at a certain point, by being a Raising Food Star, there is also an opportunity to be part of our own investment portfolio. And to give you an idea, we have almost 7 Rising Food Stars today that are part of EIT Food portfolio. So this is, in a nutshell, the benefits that you get from joining Rising Food Stars. Happy to also speak more in details about some of them in the networking session. So maybe Agnes, just move into the next slide. So showing here, and I'll put also in the link the list of the current Rising Food Stars, so you get an idea also about the type of network that you get by joining the association, because the idea is also to connect you with other startups and the stage at which they are. They are across the 6 focus areas, very, very successful ones. I think very great stories are coming out of this year. We have some nice exit strategies by 2 companies that were acquired by big players. We have some that raised Series Bs that reached the big milestone of 10 million euros, or more than 50. Actually, some reached 100 employees. So creating job, impacting the social economic environment as we aim for at EIT Food in general. So maybe just sharing one example. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a founder with us to share his stories, but in this crazy times, it's very hard to plan. Unfortunately, he just tested positive, so he couldn't be with us. It's an interesting story that I really want to share, but I can speak on behalf. So Philip is the CEO of Lovi, and actually he was a member of the Food Accelerator Network, I think in 2019, and afterwards became a member of the Rising Food Stars. They are in the targeted nutrition currently, and they got recently acquired by a big firm. They play into basically personalized nutrition through doing in-home blood tests that are shared back that are done at home. And then based on that, the results are shared with the consumer and help him to personalize his nutrition based on that. They are very pioneer in this area, and they went for this strategic partner to speed up their go-to-market, especially to the US and other big markets. And yeah, it's a shame that Philip is not here, but what he was telling me before is that he really believes that by being a Rising Food Star, he was able first to understand what are his options if he want to grow further, and the type of PR and the growth that he was able to bring his company to definitely helped him to decide on this strategic partnership that is a big step for his company. So I think, I really wanted to share this on his behalf. Happy to speak more about it in the networking session, maybe.
Thanks very much, Nargis. I think it was a really, really good overview, and I think it became much more clear about what the Rising Food Stars are. And I really loved how you can share the story of Löwy, at least if Philip can't be here today. And I think it's a super successful one, especially because it shows how a team can evolve from really being a spin-off at the university to joining the accelerator, and then actually, scaling up internationally during the Rising Food Stars. And I think it's a really impressive journey that they've done, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more teams following their path. It's really amazing, and thanks to you as well. To wrapping up the third program. And now it's, I think, up to me we have Swiss Decode here. I don't know. I think you wouldn't.
Yeah, you can skip it. I think it's, it was just to share an example. Yeah, thanks, Agnes, for the opportunity to speak about the program, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. That's a good point. Are there any questions to Nargis? Is there anything you'd like to know about Rising Food Stars? Maybe some of the teams that are on the plate here in the different focus areas. Is there anything you'd like to ask her? Now it's time. Otherwise, I think it's slowly becoming time to wrap up and to meet you all in the networking section on the networking tables. I think there's no questions right now, so I'm just gonna go on to wrap up. And I think you've got a pretty good overview about what the different programs are all about. It's about starting with validating the market potential. It's then about at Seedbed Incubator. Then it's about pilot projects, about acceleration of your road to market during the EIT FAN. And then it's about individualized support for your high-tech scale-up. And I'd really like to encourage you to join us on your journey to transforming the food system. I think it's a great opportunity to really get access to an amazing network that's full of innovative corporates, startups, and other investors, other entrepreneurs. And I think we've heard that the value is also in connecting with other entrepreneurs. And it's really a valuable, all the three different programs have really a lot of value to you in different stages. So why to get involved? Sum it up. As a startup, it's access to infrastructure, to labs, to technologies. It's access to pilot partners, to customers, to new markets. It's access to world-class skills training, to mentors and experts. I think we've heard that from Linda and also from Alexander, that they have an amazing network. They have entrepreneurs and residents doing the programs that can really push your startup into to the next level. We have investors. Christoph mentioned Peakbridge partners, other investors that are joining us as well in making an impact in the food system and commercializing your ideas. And of course, you get to be part of a thriving European-wide food and agtech community. And I really like that you all shared a lot of your thoughts and you asked questions. I think that's what we're here for today. And as a corporate, of course, you get access to a high-quality pool of agri-food startups, which is super interesting at the moment for a lot of you right now. And I think we can share a lot of expertise in working with startups at the same time. It's about finding solutions to individual challenges, but then, of course, also finding solutions together for the not so individual, but really systemic challenges that we have in our food system. And last but not least, I think we mention it quite often now today, we have an amazing impact investor network, and you'll be able to profit from that and become part of that network as an investor as well. So what's there to say? Thanks very much for joining us. We have some further program information webinars, and I'm gonna send you. I'm actually surprised. No one asked. I think this is the first webinar that we did, and no one asked if we're gonna share the slides. We will share the slides actually after, and we sent you a quick follow-up, and that's where we're also gonna share the appointments for our online webinars, where you will learn a bit more about your program application. So we have different appointments where you can ask questions concerning your applications, and this will take place in the next week and the week after. So you still have a little bit of time to apply to our program. You can already sign up, of course, on entrepreneurship, eitfood.eu. You can express your interest and then further go on with your application. But we do have special webinars for that as well, and we'll share that information with you latest beginning of next week, so you can drop into there as well. So yeah, on behalf of everyone here, I'd just like to thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank all of the partners, the amazing alumni who joined us today and shared their individual experience that they had. And now it's off to the networking tables. You'll meet Alexander and Pina at the seedbed table. You meet Linda and other colleagues from TUM, and Darina at the EIT fan table. You meet Najis at the Rising Food Stars table. I really like these emojis coming in. You can keep them going. It's amazing. And you can meet us from the CLC Central team as well at the EIT Food and Business Creation Central table. And I think there's only 8 chairs per table, so just join another one if you can't make this one. And I'd really, like to encourage you taking this time, and then we'll close the tables around 5 p.m. So have a great day. Thanks so much, and take care. Bye.